his question, this is the last question for this episode. What was your absolute worst experience while competing in the fighting game tournament scene? This one's an easy one. This is a very easy one. It was, and I'm going to just be very general here. When I first jumped into the competitive tournament scene, I found out that there was a lot of corruption. And when I say that, I mean there are tournaments. Now, I can't speak for today because today I've been out of the scene and I don't really follow it. I'm not in the behind-the-scenes stuff anymore. But I can tell you back probably around the year 2000, I went to the West Coast to be in a tournament, and it was supposed to be like a large-scale tournament. This was before there was EVO and there was Nationals. This was just a large-scale tournament on the West Coast. And I can tell you for sure, I know that brackets were rigged so that West Coast players did better in the tournaments. West Coast players were allowed to play on working cabinets. Back then, keep in mind, there weren't console versions of all these games, so we were playing on arcade cabinets. They were allowed to play on cabinets that they knew worked better than other ones. Some other ones had flaky buttons, flaky joysticks. One cabinet had no fucking sound. They didn't care. West Coast players got to play on the best. Everyone else that was there played on whatever, and if you lost because the control didn't work, fuck you. That was the mentality. And at the end of the tournament, even the tournament payouts were fucked. Meaning, never was it ever said that the arcade that this tournament was at was going to get a cut of the money, of the winnings. Then, when people got paid out, the winner said, wait a minute, this is like, you said that there were 200 entrants, it's $10 entry fee, I'm supposed to get 70%, I just did the math, this is like hundreds of dollars short. Like, what is going on here? To which the reply was, oh, well, the arcade takes a cut. And then there was a huge uproar, no, you never said the arcade takes a cut, you can't pull that now, that's totally dirty and underhanded. And eventually they ended up, oh, my time's about to run out, eventually they ended up giving out a little bit more money to the people who had won in the tournament or placed in the tournament, but it still wasn't the right amount. And then later on, they actually tried to change their website to say after the fact that it always said that there was a cut that the arcade should have taken, to which people said, no, we archived your fucking website before you changed it. It didn't say that. You changed it after the fact. You guys are underhanded, and you guys are basically crooked in what you're doing. And there was a big uproar. I was one of the people who spoke up. I was told, I'm going to tell you right now, by two people who are pretty much spearheads of the community right now, the competitive fighting community, I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm an asshole. I'm just some kid. How dare you say that they're wrong? Of course, later on, it was proven that this was all true. And never did I get an apology. I was actually banned from Shoryuken.com for a time because of this. I did get unbanned, but never got an apology. And to this day, this was kind of like the beginning of where some of the mainstream people in charge of the fighting game community didn't like me. This was like the first overstep that I did. And then over the years it just got worse and worse and progressively worse. With the things, me being outspoken about stuff that was going on in the community, and they didn't want to hear it. So that's pretty messed up, underhanded. Rigged brackets. People who you want to win in the tournament because you're favored and you're using favoritism to run your tournament get to play on the better controls, and then you cheat people out of money at the end of the tournament. And I hate to say it, to end this episode of Ask the King, but those people are still in charge of the fighting game community and they're involved with EVO. Not saying that they're doing it at this point. In fact, EVO has grown to the point where I don't think they could get away with doing anything crazy like that. And because it's console, everyone has their own joystick. I really don't think there's favoritism in brackets or anything like that anymore. But those people who did those things are now in charge of the fighting game community in the United States. So let's just think about that for a second. And now, happy Thanksgiving to everyone.